11.5% of adults over 50 years of age have experienced the loss of a child. A child is different than losing other members of your family. Not to say that the other members of your family, it hurts less. Losing a child has enduring grief, more than any other loss that you could experience in your life. They say that around 10% of people have enduring grief of the loss of a parent, a close relative, a sibling. But the loss of a child, 94% of parents carry enduring grief the rest of their life. We're about 5 years out and have really tried to discover ways that we could keep their memory alive and celebrate their life rather than look at it on the loss that we've had. Make no mistake, it's an enduring loss daily, but we're going to explore ways that we have found to celebrate them, honor their memory, and yet still be able to struggle with that loss. So my son Richie was diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer. It was an alveolar soft part sarcoma. And we're going to talk a little bit about his story and how that all came about, how it affected us over the 9 years that he struggled with that cancer until eventually going to hospice and then passing away. And how since then we have really tried to honor his memory at parties, at events. Recording this on a family event day. We're going to celebrate Valentine's Day as a family. And again, we always remember Richie. One of the things that happened to him over the course of this terrible and tragic cancer that he got was he had a choice to make. And it was a critical juncture in his life that you can either be mad at the world, frustrated. I'm sure in his inner thoughts there was a lot of deep-seated frustration because one of the things he wanted to do was live. He had developed a love of life and he wanted to have a long life. And unfortunately, sometimes things cut those short. But he made a choice of how he would handle his life going forward. He became an inspiration to a number of people. His siblings, he was a solid rock for all of the things that they were going through in their younger lives and as they grew up. To this day, he's extremely missed by his siblings and friends that they would call him just to get his opinion. He never judged. He was very willing to listen. He would be a straight shooter and give you opinion, but never judge you. And it was incredible characteristics that he developed through this journey. One of the reasons starting this podcast is I've unfortunately had this unfortunate circumstance of our loss. I have friends that have gone through the same thing and acquaintances. And one of the gaps to that is from the loss to how do you enjoy your life? How does it be fulfilling? How do you not have feelings of this? How do you not carry an enduring grief? How do you turn that grief to a celebration of their life and really just enjoy the time that they were here and what they brought and meant to a family? And so that's the premise of this podcast. We had a son, again, that went through a long bout with cancer, watched his body deteriorate. It was an end-of-life cancer with there were no cures for it. But there's other friends that have had that they've had children taken away in a moment. You didn't get to say goodbye, and it's very hard to look back and say, what could I have done differently, or if only something different would have transpired. But would have, should have, could have, you can't go back. And so this is really to be uplifting. We're going to discuss the trauma side of it, of losing a child, but also how people who have had some distance and time from when their child passed away, ways that they've, again, honored that child, kept their memories alive, celebrated their lives, how it's affected siblings and marriages, and spouses can be affected differently. We're going to explore a lot of those topics, and there are people that will watch this, hopefully, that maybe have just experienced it and looking for what is my life down the road going to look like. It's immeasurable pain to lose a child. The other thing we're going to talk about is a number of the unsung heroes that are part of your life that just come beside you and support you. In our case, we had incredible friends that were with us the entire journey. There was our life group at church. We had pastors at church, our entire church that supported our journey through this, through prayers, just being there, friends that would bring dinners in. They helped when early stages of Richie's cancer to help work on his house, to just be super supportive of us, knowing that the challenges we're going through. And people at work that supported us, customers. And when you take and you look back, going through it, you really appreciate that sacrifice that those people made and their willingness to come alongside you and say, I'm here for you. Just asking. You may not have seen someone for months, and first thing they ask you, how's your son doing? Anything that we can do to help. It was an amazing experience to have people like that in our life. But when you look back at perspective of time, it's even more remarkable how much they supported us and how much they gave us strength and guidance through this. I didn't mention family, but family is, for us, it was a given, but family was incredibly supportive of us through this journey. And I would say, without a doubt, the most supportive. And we felt lucky because we had all these support people around us, but you didn't know it at the time. Like, you appreciated it, but in retrospect, you look at how much these people just uplifted you. So we're going to interview some of the people that were in our lives, and I'm sure from these podcasts, the more people that watch it, you can send us recommendations of people that you would like to have us discuss it with. Our goal is to do interviews with people that would can shed some light on their story and how they have navigated since the loss of a child. Some of them may or may not want to share the story of what happened to their child outside of it was a sudden loss or it was a loss like ours of over time. But the real focus of this is going to be from the time you lost that child to now. How do you honor their memory? How do you get over the grief? How do you celebrate their life rather than have that big hole in your heart that you can look back and go, we only had them for a season, but that season, they made a difference in our life. So I hope you join us in these podcasts and video podcasts. And again, our goal is to help in any way we can, and we are looking for anyone that would like to participate. Please let us know send an email to me or just make it in a comment. Certainly would be glad to hear your story and your sharing that can maybe ease the pain of someone else who's going through this. So it is really going to be a tribute of joy and celebration of life more than loss, but it will be, how do you navigate those times in your life to change it from that unimaginable loss to something that you can look back and say, I'm so glad that I had the time with that child. Thank you for watching.